Get ready to immerse yourself in a world where retro aesthetics collide with gripping survival gameplay. In today's video, we're bringing you the ultimate list of the top 10 best pixel art survival games that will captivate your imagination and put your skills to the test. On number 10, we have Warhammer 40,000, Boltgun. Despite the lengthy and illustrious history of Warhammer 40k in video games, the series is not particularly well known for first-person shooters. By offering a low-cost alternative that harkens back to classic shooters from the 1990s, Boltgun seeks to correct that. As the game proudly displays its inspirations, it runs the danger of becoming stale given how many Doom and Blood clones have been released in recent years. Boltgun is a ton of fun to play even if it's not the best vintage shooter of today. The role of the player is a space marine who is given tasks that essentially consist of kill everything and make it flashy. Boltgun seeks to immerse players in the action and hold them there for as long as possible, rather than investing much time or patience on a narrative. The game does a fantastic job with its mobility and weaponry, which are just as potent given the protagonist. Boltgun makes up for its lack of a strong storyline with its creative use of the landscape. We have Cassette Beasts on position 9. Monster collecting RPGs are not exactly hard to come by. They simply look that way since Pokemon has a virtual monopoly on the genre. Over the years, Game Freak's brand has not only generated a number of excellent games but also served as an example for other creators. One such business is Bitten, and the studio's Cassette Beasts is one of the most inventive contemporary reimagining of the monster taming paradigm. The RPG has a charming and intricate pixel graphics aesthetic that is reminiscent of the Nintendo DS. It has an open-world feel with a well-realized island location, however, it is plainly displayed from an isometric position rather than in third person. The game does a decent job of defining its own identity via a mystery-filled storyline with NPCs that, for the most part, are still trying to understand their circumstances, while still providing a reasonably approachable core loop. Cassette Beasts' turn-based combat goes out of its way to make sure it stands out from the competition. The protagonists and their companions may change into animals they have recorded on their cassette recorders, and although monsters have their own advancement system, human characters level up more quickly than they do. When it comes to Cassette Beasts' innovative concepts, these mechanics are only the top of the iceberg. On position 8, we have Keepe. Although survival sandbox games are already quite prevalent, the genre hasn't yet begun to overstay its welcome. Players are given some mining equipment by Keeper, who then places them in a subterranean cavern before releasing them. The objective is to establish a base, make or acquire better goods, gather resources like food, and dig paths to access new regions, encounter monsters, or develop shortcuts. All of these concepts have been tried in true survival sandbox elements, yet Keeper keeps things interesting with its own aesthetic and growth. On number 7, we have Pizza Tower. Due to its inventive and captivating platforming, the Wario series has long had a cult following. The Wario games were far zanier and a little more diversified than their iconic Mushroom Kingdom counterparts, playing like a cross between Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario Bros. Sadly, Nintendo hasn't done much with regard to Wario, particularly with regard to the platforming releases. A new WarioWare game was released, however, it didn't satisfy the fans' need for the game's renowned platforming action. Even if it's not the same Wario people know and love, it's a blessing that there are still fans out there that are keeping this style alive. Pizza Tower is a fantastic addition to the platformer genre, with gorgeous graphics and gameplay that is reminiscent of Wario and the Earthworm Jim games. People who are looking for a classic platformer with pixelated vintage aesthetic should put this release at the top of their list. We have a Triangle Strategy on position 6. Triangle Strategy is undoubtedly the publisher's finest product of 2022, despite the fact that Square Enix has launched a number of new IPs this year. Triangle Strategy, a turn-based strategy game, is based on Final Fantasy tactics and presents a mature tale about a conflict brought on by a lack of essential resources. This game's narrative is complex both in terms of themes and people. The gameplay, which draws inspiration from genre classics while developing its own style and voice, is similar. The pixel visuals in Triangle Strategy are nothing short of breathtaking. Although it may not have the same funding as other of the more well-known Square Enix RPGs, this title has beautiful settings and well-drawn character models. Triangle Strategy is one of the best releases in terms of pixel graphics. On position 5, we have Prodeus. Although there are rare exceptions, 2D platformers and isometric adventure games that pay tribute to the SNES period are often associated with pixel graphics. First-person shooter Prodeus is a direct throwback to the 1990s, especially in terms of gameplay and level layout. There aren't many first-person shooters that use pixel graphics, thus that is what primarily sets this release apart from the competition. Prodeus can maintain its right current appearance while paying homage to its vintage beginnings because of this approach. The game's creator, Bounding Box Software, also included a number of aesthetic choices so that users could customize Prodeus' appearance to suit their tastes. Potion Permit is on position 4. On contemporary consoles, there is no shortage of life simulation games, but Potion Permit stands apart by emphasizing medical rather than farming. Players will have to put in additional effort to win over the residents of their new community, as they are cast as a scientist sent to a community that is hostile to outsiders. This includes fulfilling missions, formulating medicines for a variety of diseases, searching outside the hamlet for materials, and making a few friends. Potion Permit is an enjoyable life simulation that does not provide many difficulties, which is normally acceptable for the genre. The game's pixel art is inviting, intricate, and energetic. The sim does a fantastic job of making sure that each section of the map has a unique flavor, and the same is true of the NPCs and opponents. On number 3, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Shredder's Revenge is not just a magnificent return to the franchise's beat-em-up heyday, but also jam-packed with allusions to earlier games, showing that Tribute Games certainly knows its TMNT gaming history. The Turtles are forced to go to the surface to carry out justice because the Foot Clan is attempting to wreak havoc on New York streets once again. This time, Master Splinter, April O'Neil, and Casey Jones are with them. In Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, each playable character has their own special techniques and weaponry that make them stand out from the other characters. Due to the roster's emphasis on mastering each fighter, the campaign's replayability is substantially increased. Pixelated visuals are skillfully used in Shredder's Revenge to create a visually appealing aesthetic that is at once retro and contemporary. We have Dave the Diver at number 2. Dave the Diver combines business management with exploration. Before he knows it, Dave is running a sushi joint and has access to a lake that is teeming with fish from all over the globe. As a result, the main character spends his day diving into the lake's depths in quest of delicious foods to serve to the diners that evening. Due to the pixel game's primary emphasis on capturing rather than selling fish, this gameplay loop excels. A compelling theme and excellent artwork are combined in Dave the Diver to vividly depict the restaurant and the lake. The game has amazing promise and is pretty polished in comparison to some of its in-development competitors, even though it is currently in early access. On number 1, we have Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath Traveler, a turn-based JRPG with a modern twist by Square Enix, was published in 2018. It acted as a tribute to earlier turn-based JRPGs. 8 protagonists are followed by the player as they go on independent adventures. While they participate in their companions' adventures as party members and engage in some group interaction, their tales stand alone. Although there are a few minor changes along the way, Octopath Traveler 2 mostly follows the same structure. Once again, there are 8 playable characters in the game, each of them leads an own plot. Additionally, players are allowed to choose who they wish to start with. Even while the franchise's organizational style may not appeal to everyone, Octopath Traveler is unquestionably a well-refined technical and aesthetic experience. The game's pixel imagery is nothing short of spectacular, and the turn-based combat follows tradition while embracing current standards. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. See you next time.